Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Football Manager 2016 with Liverpool, and here we go then. This is the Champions League quarter-final versus Manchester United. I'm going to get to that in a second, very quickly. I just want to go over some of the games we've played, including Man United in the Premier League, before we get onto this. So, we beat Wolfsburg 1-0 as you saw. We then played Stoke and beat them 3-0. We've had goals from Coutinho and Firmino, as well as this guy, Andy Hillman. I'm not sure if I've introduced you to him before. If you've missed a few videos, here he is, or if this is indeed the first time, then here we go. 16 years old, he scored as you saw, finishing 13, that's not bad. The real news is, he is now actually the all-time Premier League youngest goal scorer. He was 16 years old, 45 days, which I think is about 200 or something days smaller, younger than James Vaughan, who is the current of Everton, or formerly of Everton, who is the current record holder. So that was pretty cool. He will likely fall away a little bit, because they always do, you know, when a player sort of hits like a stage of 16, 17, they tend to fall away slightly. They can't sustain, you know, first team constant, so to speak, for that length of time. They will inevitably fall away. I'll probably send them on loan or somewhere, but just to keep an eye on. He's one to remember. We then played Derby and beat them 1-0. Mamadou Sakho scored to give us the victory. And we played Watford. Now, this one was a very frustrating game. I just want to show you this. Martinez got himself sent off. And Kumar Babakar, remember him from, God, FM 11, 12? One of those. They gave us a really good game, and I think a draw was a fair result. They've got some decent players. There's Capoue still there. They've got Michael Keane and Thomas Kalish, Matthew Targett, Babakar, obviously, Demarai Gray, Nathan Redmond. So, Alberto Cherry. So, lots of good players there for them. So, I don't think a point was the end of the world. But then this just happened. 2-0 defeat to Southampton. Very confusing. Again, just one of those games, really, where you just don't win. They just play better. But the most annoying part was Victor Wanyama, 2 goals. How does that even happen? They essentially, what you would call on FIFA, pace abusers. The likes of Mane, Chamberlain, you know, Bertrand obviously coming down the side as well. Loads and loads of pace there, so that they beat us, essentially. Don't know what happened here, just another one where you lose. And then we played Man United. So this was game 1 of 3. We drew 0-0. That does not tell half the story. Look at that. They battered us. They absolutely battered us. But we somehow managed to hold out. Don't ask me how. Well, I know how. Rui Patricio was absolutely outstanding. I don't know why he's a 7.1. He should be on about a 9. Yeah, they absolutely dominated. We didn't even have a shot on target. 5 shots, all at target. Awful. Look at the ratings. I mean, also their team, incidentally. This is their team here. Apologies for my creaky chair. Alessio Romagnoli is still there. They've got Laporte, they've got Shaw, obviously, Ericsson, Tielemans, Yarmolenko, Depay and Mata are still there. Barbosa, yes, the Gabriel Barbosa. Gareth Bale is there. Wendell, who plays, his name's familiar, Leverkusen, that's the one, knew him from somewhere. Berardi's there. So we somehow managed to scrape a 0-0. Don't ask me how, but we did. So this is going to be, we're going to move straight on now. I don't want to faff around anymore. These are the players that are going to take on Man United in the Champions League. So here we go then. The first game is going to be at Anfield. We've got Patricio in goal, Chambers, Sakho, Goldeniga, Lazar, Cristante, Henderson out on the right, because Kondogbia is playing there. Old Sheik did not have a particularly good game against them. So I'd rather play Henderson, who's a bit more experienced. And he's been in he's been in average form, shall we say. But I still have a bit more faith in him. Kondogbia then, Coutinho, and Rui Pedro and Tizard up front. So let's do it then. Now, Gareth Bale is up front. That I did not expect. They've also got Ross Barkley and Javi Manquillo, a former Liverpool player, of course, who I thought was pretty poorly treated by Brendan Rodgers. He's another example of Rodgers's poor man management skills, really. He was, he was just, that was Rodgers' downfall, in my opinion. It really was a case of he did not know how to handle players. He would alienate them so much. I mean, it happens to everyone, of course, but Rodgers would do it with so many players. And I say Manquillo really didn't do a lot wrong, but just taking out the team. a bit unfairly considering his age as well. To be honest, his deal to join Liverpool was very strange overall. It was a 2-year loan period, but like we had some sort of option to buy. I don't even know what happened there, but it was cut short. Very strange, but there you go. Here's a chance for Rui Pedro. That's pretty lame. So yeah, I suppose we just don't want Man United to score here. That'd be handy, especially if you pass it back to them. What on earth happened there? Right, so Bale just tried to David Beckham, Rui Patricio there from the halfway line virtually. So yeah, how are we getting on? So I want to just actually make a point as well. Now, I've been talking more and more about grassroots football, you know, the last sort of few games, or videos I should say, and I was reading an article about how a Liverpool fan in December 2015 went to go see, I think it was Mainz, Jurgen Klopp's former team. He paid the equivalent of £17 for 2 tickets. He got to drink beer in the stands. The atmosphere was amazing. He was essentially saying, like, you do realise this is the gold standard of football nowadays, actually going to the game. You know, you can watch it all on the internet, you can do this, that, the other, Sky, everything like that. But the German football is the golden standard. And as far as I can see, it backs up this idea that Sky have essentially sold, I think Jamie Carragher actually said this word for word about 2 or 3 years ago. You've been sold a lie by Sky that, you know, the Premier League's the best league in the world. No, it isn't. It just isn't. I say that managing Liverpool versus Man United, but you know, in terms of actually treatment for the fans and actual treatment for the play, you know, in terms of contrasting that to the players, and I guess to a lesser extent, you know, directors, chief executive managers, etc. It just feels very lopsided and a bit unfair, really, and not very good. And also, I think they said as well, one major thing, a lot of people, and this kind of sums up the attitude between the two countries, really, Germany and England. When the game was over, this is from the guy who went to Germany, said it was, I think the game was 1-0. Both sets of fans, going to bring Salman Rondon here, both sets of fans went over to both sets of players went over to the fans and applauded them. That was completely normal, everyone thought that was fine. When Jurgen Klopp went to do that, after scoring against, you know, after Origi scored a later equaliser against West Brom, he was completely derided for it. Everyone made fun of him and thought it was a stupid thing to do. And that just sums it up, really. Everyone has been, I think, they've been completely missold football in general. I know it sounds strange, but the attitudes, I know it's a British thing to be very cynical of everything. I mean, look at me, for God's sake. But I just feel that, you know, that is a completely natural thing to do in Germany. Yet I know 2-2 is not the best scoreline, but they do it for every game. You know, whether they lose 3-0 or 1-0 in this case, as we are. There's Malcolm scoring, Rui Patricio beaten for the first time in, goodness me, nearly 3 hours of football. They have an away goal. I should just actually focus on the game now. Anyway, you get my point about what I was trying to say. But look, I really should focus on the game. We're not playing very well. Man United's team is, quite frankly, friggin' ridiculous compared to mine, at least. Anyway, here's Coutinho. Can we get a goal? Come on, put it in. There's Tizard. There we go. Thank goodness for that. James Tizard, who has been on a slightly dry spell over the last few days. He hasn't played very well, but hopefully we can get something now. I mean, look at the quality. Like, these are all world-class stars. Like, there's Bale and Barkley, obviously, at this stage. Bear in mind that it's 2021 and so on. But here's Tizard, goes over the bar. You know, look at their team. It's Galacticos-esque. Ours is not like that. But we have a penalty. I'm not quite sure, by the sound thing, the commentator describe it, it's going to be Brian Cristante, the silent man, almost, so far. But we can take a 2-1 lead. Indeed we have. I don't quite believe this. It's his first goal of the season. As soon as we score, I haven't even made any tactical tweaks or anything. I probably should do that now. Obviously Rondon's come on, but other than that, wow. I don't know why Hillman's on the bench. should have not have brought him on the bench. That's my bad completely. But we are somehow probably. You know what? I should have gone counter before this highlight. Because I mean, just look at the football he played. I mean, and as I talked about Southampton as well being complete pace whores. I mean, that is Man United like times 1,000. You know, the likes of Bale and Pye and Barkley even. Right, we are going to go counter just to be a bit more defence minded. We're also going to. I don't know who to bring on. Shall we bring on Chalobah? No, I'm not. I'm actually not going to make any changes. I'm not going to make any. I'm just going to change the mentality slightly to counter, and that's all. Because since Man United have scored, we've actually played quite well. Well, except when we just booted straight to Morgan Schneiderlin. But you know what I mean? They've got a player like Gareth Bale here who can just turn it on like that. Yeah, instantly, just for a shot from 35 yards. I know we haven't seen too many shots from 35 yards at all on Football Manager 2016, and that goes for virtually everyone. But it can happen. You see them very occasionally. That is one thing I would. I mean, the problem is if they were too common, I'd imagine that would wind everyone up. Everyone would get very frustrated if you saw more than a few. You would get your back up because everyone's complaining that they're too common then, so I suppose they have to restrict them. And Yarmolenko, should I have gone defensive? I'm not sure, but he's just popped it in at the back post. Another fucking back post goal. And 2-2. Well, they've got two away goals. That's not good, especially now that we've got to go to Old Trafford. Salman Rondon brought on to make a difference, hasn't really. Got to be honest with you. I talked before about how maybe he did. No, I don't think he did. Chance for Tizard though. No, just whacks it straight at the Man United player. But I mean, look, you can see the gulf in quality. I mean, as I say, these are absolute world beaters. We only have a few. The fact that we're actually top of the table by as much as we are is actually amazing. Considering their team, and you can see why they're current champions and all that. Being managed instantly. In fact, who are they being managed by? I've forgotten. It's obviously not Van Gaal. I need to check that. I've totally forgotten. Right, now that's very frustrating. Who is the Man United manager? I've totally forgotten. Oh, it's Michel. Okay, that's a random one. But yeah, Yarmolenko, 90th minute. For goodness sake. Well, he scored a penalty. It's not like he just conjured the goal out of friggin' thin air. Right, so, Firmino, I should point out, Firmino is actually injured. I'm not sure if you saw this. Firmino is injured basically for the rest of the season. Big news there. That's why Henderson's playing out wide and El Cheek played. So, 2 away goals for Man United. Bit disappointing, really. Should have been a bit better, but there you go. We're going to play then. I'm going to play this Fulham game next, and I'll be back with, probably tomorrow, I think, with the second leg. We'll see how we get on. Considering it was 0-0 Old Trafford, and home advantage on this game at times is quite simply overpowering to the point where certain things are unwinnable, I'm not confident. Sorry. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.